Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Any Good News. For those of you that don't know, I'm Taylor Budd, and this is a brand new project that I'm kicking off with the spare time that I've got during lockdown. On these shows, I'll be taking all the top headlines from around the globe that week and talking about them with you, whilst trying to ignore all the other bullshit news, like this dickhead. Alright, I probably won't ignore shit like that because that is funny as fuck. There's a lot of things that I see in the news that I can't actually say on my radio shows because I have to be seen as indifferent. By the way, weekdays, Decadence Radio, 4 till 7, see you there. And then I realised I actually have a lot of opinions about what I see that I would like to say. Most of what I say is going to be completely opinionated, and yes, I will get things wrong. And yes, I will miss out facts. Deal with it. Thanks. Who's got time for people that do stuff like this?
I'm just going to move back to the main set. I know this has happened before, but here we are. If I sidle in, you can pretend that you haven't noticed. Here we are. Lewis Hamilton has won the Formula One.
Like I said, who's got time for people like that? So let's start off with something that's not so recent, but is definitely worth talking about because it reminds us that the UK is not the biggest joke. And by that, I mean America.
And less than a week before President Trump leaves office, he has earned the distinction of being the only president who has been impeached twice.
He was impeached for incitement of insurrection following the riots that happened in the Capitol last week. If you don't know what impeachment means, because I fucking didn't, it basically means that if a president commits a crime and is convicted of high treason, bribery or any other higher charges, then Congress, which is our version of Parliament, can then vote to remove them from office immediately. In other words, they were fucking shitting themselves that he was going to do something stupid in his last few days as president, like start a nuclear war. Look at the fear in this woman's face.
Well, sadly, the person who's running the executive branch is a deranged, unhinged, dangerous president of the United States. And only a number of days until we can be protected from him.
Now, I feel like we need to rewind a bit to before the riots to get the full story. We have all seen President Trump acting like a Class A bellend on Twitter. Trump lost to Biden in a completely fair election back in November, which he even said himself was the most fair election that they've ever had in the country's history. But because he's lost, he's thrown his toys out the pram, he refuses to concede, and he's trying to rally up all of his supporters to say that this is a rigged election. It was an unfair election. It was rigged.
Oh, shut up, you cunt!
But the fact of the matter is that if he would have won, then that would have been it. Close case, end of scenario, he would have been the president for the next 4 years. Biden would have lost, he would have shook his hand, and that would be that. But the bloke just can't lose. And now you've made all his bloody redneck supporters angry with his social media outburst, and you've also got Julie Rudiani doing stupid shit like this at a prep rally.
The ballots that are fraudulent, and if we're wrong, we will be made fools of. But if we're right, a lot of them will go to jail. So, let's have trial by combat.
So that, plus some stupid tweets, plus this.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Equals this.
Stop the steal! You burgling! You cowboy! Yeah!
There's no nice way of putting it. The riots that took place in the Capitol the other day was just bloody disgusting. 5 dead and a DC Metro police officer who was dragged down the Capitol stairs and beaten the living daylights out of by rioters, the same people that he is trying to protect and serve. Please just look at this in disgrace.
The officer squeezed in a door frame by rioters pushing and screaming, "Heave ho!" This is the same door, but a different officer, dragged out of the line of DC police officers trying to push the rioters out of the Capitol. It is hard to see through the crowd, but the officer, desperate and alone, was beaten, stomped, and hit with the flagpole. At one point, it looked like one of the protesters would impale him.
So this tells you a lot about Donald Trump, because these are the people that believe, support and follow him. Look at this. They were literally geared up, full tack gear, with zip ties, so they could obviously kidnap a hostage. Congress members were scared, officers were completely abused, civilians were injured, some died, all in the country's capital. That whole day was just one big disgrace in American history. And not to mention, we're in a fucking pandemic. The next day, Trump released a video which was then taken down from all social media accounts because they believed that it enticed further violence. But as you well know, nothing is truly lost on the internet. Here it is.
Such a thing happened where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel.
So basically, what he has done there is completely reverse psychology, everyone, because he's just rolled them up again saying how it's a frauded election, but telling everyone to go home, knowing fully fucking well they ain't gonna do it. So because of this, all social media accounts believe that Trump was a risk of further enticement of violence, so this happened.
Major platforms like Twitter and Facebook banning the president from posting.
Cracks me up as well, yeah, because Trump tried to get rid of TikTok, but TikTok got rid of Trump first. The only man that seems to have sense is the man, the myth, the legend, the former mayor of California. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet.
Next up is about the UK government. So when lockdown 3.0 was announced, Boris announced that the government will provide those families and children that are relying on free school meals that they will receive food parcels for the time that the schools are shut through lockdown. Great, fantastic. School meals for the week, straight to the door. Or was it? All hell broke loose on Twitter when Roadside Mum posted this picture of the parcel that she received. It was an utter disgrace. No one would be happy receiving that, especially when you're giving it to your child. And this wasn't the only one. It seemed to be happening a lot around the country. Now, if Jamie Oliver didn't stick his fat nose in where it wasn't wanted, they could all have turkey Twizzlers for the week, but that's life. Luckily, Marcus Rashford, MBE, the former football player with a conscience that we all know and love, soon found out and was taking no prisoners. This one really didn't take that long to solve, and I mean, look at the photos. The evidence was there, the government knew they had to do something, there was no getting out of this one. But the punchline of this story is when Piers Morgan, the man with no filter, absolutely tore Matt Hancock to shreds live on Good Morning Britain.
And
do you regret voting against it?
well, I'll put it this way. In the first lockdown, we took this action. And now, as you say, we're in
Health
a second
Secretary, you only have to say yes or no, whether you regret it. You either regret it or you don't.
Well, I'm really glad that the situation's been resolved.
So you regret voting against it?
I'm really glad it's been resolved and we've sorted it out. I'm going to use my own words to describe my own feelings on this one.
So you won't answer the question?
Oh, shut up, you cunt!
And I'm not going to go into this too much. Actually, I'm not going to go into this at all. Because I don't know the full story. I can't be asked to cross-examine everything. I'm just going to leave this one here. The last story I want to go over with you lot today is Stephen Bear getting arrested for releasing revenge porn on his ex-girlfriend Georgia. Kids, if you are listening, you might want to turn away from this one. Fucking bellend. Absolute moron. Silly cunt. Alexa, what is 100, 100, 100, 100, 100 in Welsh?
Cunt, 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 cunt.
He was all of these things before he went and released a revenge porn video, which he created from the CCTV cameras in his house. But now he's done that, The bloke needs to be sectioned. Disgrace to Essex and a disgrace to mankind. Revenge porn is literally the lowest of the low. It's down there with nonces. Just fucking stay down there, mate. No one wants you. Everyone, please pay attention. There is never an excuse to get back at your ex with pictures, texts, or videos that you shared intimately together. I really don't like reality TV stars, but Georgia is the one bird that actually seems pretty sound as hell. Unlike this fucking dickhead.
Bear, let go of the door, Bear.
Open the door, that's what I wanted. Alright? Not being silly.
Have a seat.
I've got a seat.
Can you sit down, please, Bear?
Okay.
Sit down.
I calm down.
Sit down.
It's not a row here, it's fine. A bit of calmness.
Yeah.
I'm here. Okay. I know there's someone else there.
And I'll stand here. Stay in the seat.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Now, I don't know the full story. I'm not going to pretend to, and quite frankly, I don't want to know it. That's their business. But for someone to do this, has to be really insecure with themselves and have serious jealousy problems, as well as other major issues, you know, like dandruff, shit like that. Just like many other influencers and reality TV stars, Stephen Bear had just flown back from Dubai trying to ignore the fact that we're in a pandemic, to only then be arrested on investigation of releasing a revenge porn video on Georgia. The next day, he was released and was seen with a big old smile on his face, which I would just love to slap right off. The absolute dickhead took to social media telling everyone what he was under investigation for and what charges he was facing.
So let's start with the first one. Harassment. Doesn't sound good, does it? Exposure. Not too sure what exposure kind of means. Obstructing a police officer. What do you reckon I did? Do you reckon I got in his way, or? And voyeurism. See, the thing is with voyeurism, I think that means because I've gone to Dubai and I've gone on a voyage, you know what I mean, I've travelled, I'm getting nicked for travelling to Dubai. So I went on a voyage. Do you blame Captain Cook for sailing the 7 seas? No, you don't.
It really did anger me how much he just didn't care. And someone else that didn't care is his new 17-year-old girlfriend. I really don't know what to make of this girl. I can get over the 13-year-old age gap, but the bloke you're seeing has literally just been done for exposing his ex by posting a porn video that he made with the CCTV cameras in his house where you probably now sleep. What do you think's gonna happen to you, darling? I almost want to feel sorry for her, but we all know this is just a stupid claim to fame with an absolute fucking dickhead. And that's all for now for the first episode of Any Good News, but thank you for watching. If you did like it, then like, share, subscribe, share the love around. I'll be back on Monday to cover the whole story of Biden's inauguration.